I had to learn how to have entertaining matches at a TV level without being able to hardly walk. Oh, it'd be great. They're two peas in a pod. They're always attached to the hip. This would be great for them to just, we'll make them a tag team. You got your TV style, and then house show matches are kind of like, you're just trying stuff out, stuff like that. So you have one chance a month to like win the audience over. I ended up being Ryback's last 4 matches on the Indies. Dude, this is surreal. This is a surreal moment. Like I didn't even feel like I was really there. Dude, me and Jerry Lawler, we went at it, and Jerry loved it, had a great time. You start doing stuff more for a reason. Tells Dave Marquez, oh dude, he would be great for Pack 3. Got to work with Elijah Burke and a full program, and dude, we had really good chemistry. I was sitting in the passenger seat. He gets mad at some dude driving, and he's like, dude, get my Uzi out from underneath my seat.
Call it how I see it, straight talk, no disguise. So the slang dripping, got the truth in my eyes. Might like gavel, every word, lay it down. Coach C in the booth, turn the game all around, yeah. It's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business. Yeah, I'm sharp as attack when I call the play-by-play. Every dog got his day, and I make the crowd stay. It's every week we go live on a Wednesday. Dressing so sharp, that's a reason why your friends stay. The youngest in the game to do it, best for business. Coach C is the truth and everybody gonna witness. Love entertainment, you swear it's your destiny. Link with Coach C, we can talk about your legacy. It's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Another episode of Best for Business. I'm pumped for this one. Dylan Bostic, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
I'm pumped to talk to you. Earlier we talked about it. Elia Markopoulos was the one that suggested you, so later on we're going to talk about him. But I'm curious from you, when you talk about pro wrestling, you've done so much in wrestling, but originally, what was it about wrestling that made you even want to get involved in it?
Man, I remember the first time I saw pro wrestling, actually. I was about 4 years old. And my mom was flipping through the channels, and she turned on wrestling, and I was like, oh, I want to watch, And we were in the middle of watching wrestling because my mom likes wrestling too. And we were in the middle of watching wrestling. I was 4 years old, and it was a bad thunderstorm, and the electricity went out.
Wow.
And I cried and cried and cried because I wanted to watch wrestling. And then when the electricity came back on, I didn't understand that she couldn't put wrestling back on. So
Yeah.
Ever since then, man, I was in love with it. It was just because I got that tease right off the bat. It was like, here's a little wrestling. Nah, you can't watch that.
Yeah.
So ever since then, it was just love pro wrestling.
Wow. So you love it at 4 years old. What is the age you decide that wrestling is going to be something you start to pursue?
Well, I didn't really know or comprehend that, like, the ways to become a pro wrestler because I was a little kid, but I always loved wrestling. And, every kid wants to be a police officer or a soldier or an astronaut, certain things, firemen, stuff like that. So, obviously pro wrestling was my favorite thing. But then I was probably about 8 years old, and my mom actually started dating a local pro wrestler. And when she was like, I'm taking you to a wrestling thing this weekend, I was like, oh, I don't want to go, because I thought it was like UFC, but UFC was called something else at the time. Well, not UFC, but like Cage Warriors or something.
Yeah.
So I thought it was one of those things, and I wasn't, I was a kid, so I wasn't really interested in that. I wanted to watch pro wrestling.
Yeah.
So I was surprised when I got there. I was like, this is like WWF, you know what I mean? So I was excited, and then I started training with those guys when I was about 10 years old, and fell in love with it even more, and that was the journey I was ready to take.
Wow. So you start training as Indiana?
Yeah, Indiana. Yep.
Is there anything you notice that stands out about the Indiana wrestling scene compared to anywhere else?
Not really. I mean, Indiana, my whole wrestling career, I've pretty much been outside of Indiana. I spent, a few years here at the beginning. And then the last year I was here, but outside of that, I really didn't do a whole lot in Indiana, other than like coming back for, like, if my friend was running a show, Jake Oman, if he was running a show, my friend, if he ran a show, I'd come back and stuff like that. And then I'd come back for little one-offs in my hometown, just to draw a little crowd. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, Indiana's pretty, there's not much here, but there's some decent stuff here. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like a hotbed for pro wrestling or anything, but there's a couple of good shows here.
Now, is HPW, that's out of Indiana?
Yeah, so that was one of the companies I was wrestling for when I first
Okay.
started. And it's closed. It's been closed down for a little over 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
But Jerry Wilson ran that for decades. And, that was one of the places that I first got to, get my start in. Wrestled some great guys there, Jamie Dundee from PG-13. That was a good experience. Yeah, just got to get some experience whenever I was starting out in HPW.
When you first started originally, I know it's you, but like, what was the inspiration you were going for Dylan Bostic as a wrestler?
I just wanted to wrestle on WWE. That was pretty
Okay.
much it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just wanted to, that was my goal was to
Yeah.
wrestle on WWE, and got to do that. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
My dream was to wrestle on the big show.
Nice. What about like the gear and the moves or like the way you present it? Who are you inspired by?
So wrestling wise, like in ring, I would say Macho Man Randy Savage.
Hmm.
Um, but like character and stuff like that, I actually got from like celebrities and like drama and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be completely different than other people. Um, but yeah, a lot of that stuff I just stole stuff from all kinds of different people. You know what I mean? But celebrities, not wrestlers.
Hmm.
But yeah, I could kind of, I was always changing too. So,
Yeah.
it was whatever caught my eye. I was like, oh man, and that's the thing that I learned from William Regal. He always said, like, if he noticed somebody doing something super annoying that was like a small detail, he would use that on TV. So, and
Wow.
it would just be like a random person he would see in the street.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of got that from like celebrities and stuff.
Wow. When you talk your career, you've done so much. So originally, the first thing I want to ask you, how did the opportunity for you to be in the Super Indy tournament even happen?
So, I had just left OVW about 6 months before
Hmm.
I started with IWC. Um, and it was kind of hard, like going back to like just, all the other independent stuff because they were OVW, like being an OVW guy, they kind of had like they would have their guard up, like, oh, this guy's going to be a, you know, egotistical guy or hard to work with or,
Hmm.
whatever. So I had to wrestle on some pretty crappy shows for a little while. And then getting into IWC, it was it was DJZ. He was one of my friends,
Yeah.
DJZ and Impact. I can't remember what they call him in WWE,
Walking
but
Wild, I think.
yeah, Joaquin
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah, so he's one of my good friends, and
Nice.
he's the one that got me in IWC and really talked him into like pushing me to the top. So
Nice.
yeah, thankful for him.
Yeah. When you mentioned the OVW, for Elia, he had to do a TNA gut check. For you, how did you get into OVW?
So I did a Ring of Honor slash OVW tryout
Okay.
in 2010, and I was still in high school. And they, offered me to, start with OVW as soon as I was out of high school. So a few months later, I graduated
Mhm.
and moved down to Louisville and got my start in OVW.
Wow. What's like a day in the life for somebody at OVW?
Well, it's probably way different now.
Yeah.
But back then, with the TNA deal, I mean, we were doing 3, 4 shows a week,
Hmm.
and we had class 2 days a week. So it was tough, man, because you're not making any money hardly, and you don't have time to have a job. So, I would work in Ilia will tell you this. I had a job at the desk at LA Fitness.
Yeah.
When he first came to OVW, he'd see me every week before he'd started, and he'd say hi to me or whatever. But he kept coming into the gym, and he'd be like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" And I would just look at him like, "What the fuck is this guy's problem? Who is this dude?" Like
Yeah.
I couldn't put two and two together that he's the dude that's at
Yeah.
OVW. And he was like, dude, he thought I was a dick. It was just because I didn't realize it was him.
Wow.
Oh man, it was hilarious. But
And, and then he told me to tell you or ask you your perspective. For the longest time, did he tell you he had like a gun in his car or something?
yeah, no. So the story was, I was in his car, and he had this little, bad boy, like he just looked like he'd be into some stuff. So
Yeah.
anyway, he picks me up. I can't remember what we were doing, but we were in his car, and I think he had a Dodge Charger.
Mhm.
And that's a typical car for some troublemakers,
Yeah.
So and I've had a crazy life, so it wasn't anything new to me. So I was sitting in the passenger seat. He gets mad at some dude driving, and he's like, "Dude, get my Uzi out from underneath my seat." out from underneath the passenger seat, and I don't even like question it. I just reach under the seat. And I'm looking for the gun, and he starts dying laughing. He's like, "Dude, you're really gonna give me the
Wow.
gun?"
When you look at OVW, the amount of people that you've gotten to wrestle with or share the locker room with, is there any moments or matches that stand out from OVW?
um, and I had a really good match with Chris Silvio on a Saturday night special that I really enjoyed.
Hmm.
That was like that stands out to me just because it was like my first time really getting to show what I can do.
Yeah.
Because before that, when you're working TV, you're having little, one segment, 7-minute matches. Well, 7 minute, that's curtain to curtain, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's really hard to like really, get your abilities over on TV. So people won't really know what you can do, even if you're getting pushed and you're winning your matches. Like, I mean, they can see that you can get over and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
do they know if you can have like a main event match? No, they don't know yet.
Yeah.
So that was my first time actually getting to really, really showcase that I could be a top guy in OVW.
Nice. What about it? Did anything stand out being what was it? 2-time television champ for OVW?
Yes, sir. 2-time TV champion.
Yeah. Any
But,
moments or matches from that stand out?
um, the first TV title run was a little rough because I tore my MCL like 3 days before I went over for the belt.
Wow.
And so I was really that first run was a good experience for me because I had to learn how to have entertaining matches at a TV level without being able to hardly walk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was like a really good learning experience. But my second TV title run was actually only one match because I got hurt again. I got hurt like a couple days later in the gym, not even in the ring. But that match probably was my favorite match that I had, and that was with Adam Revolver.
Nice.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. How does the idea come for you to team with Jessie Godderz?
So Jesse and I were best friends.
Yeah.
We were living together.
Nice.
So they thought, oh, it'd be great. They're two peas in a pod. They're always attached to the hip. This would be great for them to we'll make them a tag team.
Hmm.
I hated it.
Wow.
I hated it because, and it's nothing, Jesse's my best friend, but, standing next to him, dude, like, even though I'm like a lean guy, I look like shit.
Yeah.
Dude, he's jacked as hell. Like, I look terrible next to him. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And so him being so jacked and then his personality so loud, my personality is also loud. So it was kind of like a clash. You know what I mean? It was too much. And I didn't like standing next to him on TV. I thought I looked like shit.
Wow.
So I was like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
So we ended up changing. I think that's when we switched and then it was Elia.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious for you. You've done so much at OVW. When you're done with OVW, what's the biggest difference from Dylan Bostic then to after OVW, you think?
I think because it's two different styles, right? So when you're only wrestling on TV and house shows, you got your TV style, and then house show matches are kind of like you're just trying stuff out and stuff like that.
It works, yeah.
Yeah, on independent shows, especially the big ones, you're wrestling once a month on that show. So you have one chance a month to like win the audience over. And it's you're not working the TV, you're working the audience, you know what I mean? Because you're trying to sell tickets for the in-house audience.
Yeah.
So it's two totally different performers.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen my matches in OVW and then watch my matches in IWC or NSPW or Super Kick, stuff like that? Totally different guys, you know what I mean? Totally not even the same league.
Yeah. When you look at your career before OVW, what would you consider your first big opportunity in wrestling, you'd say?
What was that?
Your first big opportunity.
My first big opportunity? Probably, so I did a FCW tryout in 2010, I think, or 2009, something like that. But that was WWE's NXT at the time.
Yeah.
But that was probably my first huge opportunity just because I got in front of the WWE guys. I got to learn from Dr. Tom, Ricky Steamboat. Like, I got to learn from those guys. So that was like the first time I got real knowledge, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like past like beginner level knowledge. And that was a huge opportunity. That was probably the first one. And that, I mean, that's what ended up getting me my, match with Ryback on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So, it worked out.
How was your experience wrestling Ryback?
Oh, is that awesome, man?
Yeah.
So the cool thing was I ended up being Ryback's last four matches on the Indies. So he hasn't
Wow.
wrestled since he wrestled me. I was his last four matches in a row,
Yeah.
for Northeast Wrestling. But going back to the SmackDown thing, it wasn't even a real. It wasn't real.
Yeah.
Dude, this is surreal. This is a surreal moment. Like I didn't even feel like I was really there.
Hmm.
Because I was a kid. I was only 19 years old, and
That's a dream.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. When you talk about it, you're living in Indiana, you do a lot of wrestling for places like OVW. How does Northeast Wrestling come about?
So, Northeast Wrestling, they were running one of those baseball stadium shows in Niles, Ohio, and they booked a couple or not OVW, they booked a couple IWC guys, and I was one of them, to work with Jerry Lawler. And dude, we had a sick match, dude.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it was a blast. I was legit drenched in sweat. Like
Wow.
me and Jerry Lawler, we went at it, and Jerry loved it, had a great time, and that's how I won the promoter Michael over. And anytime he could, he made sure he took care of me and brought me in and gave me
Yeah.
some big names to work with.
Yeah. One thing about Dylan Bostic from the Rip, how did you gain this confidence, or did you always have it?
No, it was from training with Rip.
Okay.
So Rip, I mean, he'll have you do drills
Yeah.
that last an hour long. So, and if you're doing that two times a week for years, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like you're gonna have confidence no matter what, because it's repetition, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So really it was because of Rip.
Is there something that stands out in general, just learning from Rip?
Um, yeah, I mean, just his overall knowledge and like the way he sees things, the way he thinks about things, you start doing stuff more for a reason rather than like every little detail you do is for a reason. A
Hmm.
lot of guys, they might do some things for a reason, but 75% of their match is just, random stuff.
Yeah.
But just like him breaking down stuff and why you do this, why you don't do this, why you do that, why you don't do that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that was the biggest thing with Rip.
When you talk about OVW and after you were done with it, was it hard picking up back on the independents for you at first?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very hard, and it goes back to that when you have an OVW label on you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like this now, but back then, if you had an OVW label on you, they're like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be hard to work with. Like
Egos,
this
all
guy's
that.
gonna
Yeah.
have an ego."
Yeah.
And then once people started to like get to work with me, dude, then that's when promoters were like, "Bro, you got to work with this guy. He's the best to work with. Like
Yeah.
he's awesome." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, no ego.
One thing I gotta ask you about, especially during that time, it was at its peak. How did your opportunity for the Young Lions Cup happen?
Yeah, so man, I can't remember where I was living. I think I was living in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
But I was blowing up. Like I was on all the big shows. Like I was doing
Yeah.
having some amazing matches that were getting a lot of buzz. And Quackenbush hit me up and was like, "Hey, I want to compete in the Young Lions Club Cup." Um, but the issue was my age because I think the limit was like 25, and I think I
Okay.
was
Yeah.
26. And he's like, "Well, no one will probably think about it or look it up or know or whatever."
Mm.
And oh, dude, as soon as it got posted, it got a lot of heat because it's like, dude, this guy's been wrestling for like over 10 years,
Wow.
and he's definitely got to be, too old for the thing. But I was
Mhm.
only too old for by like a year. I
Yeah.
just had an early start. But yeah, no, it was an awesome time. I loved it.
Yeah. One thing I was curious about, whose idea was the Pack 3 at first?
So Pack 3 was actually already a thing.
Okay.
So I moved out to California.
Yeah.
They brought me in, and this is a hilarious story. So the guy that was the manager of Pack 3, Coach Flex,
Yeah.
he wrestles now. But anyway, him and I first show, we hit it off. We're buddy, and I had a dark match with I think MJF maybe.
Hmm.
I think it was that. But anyway, we hit it off, and I had a dark match, and um, the guy Flex, he tells Dave Marquez, "Oh, dude, he would be great for Pack 3." And Dave Marquez was like, well, that's funny because what do you think he's here for? So I
Wow.
guess like my dark match was because they were planning to put me in pack three.
Yeah.
They already had the storyline planned out and stuff. And
Yeah.
but yeah, that's how that all started. And the pack three, because pack three was already a thing running on
Hmm.
that program. And we had a great time. And me and Flex were still best buds to the day. So
Yeah.
we rarely see each other, but we talk all the time still. So
Nice. And especially when you look at your career, some of the companies you wrestled for originally, how does championship wrestling happen for you?
yeah, so I actually moved out there for a business opportunity.
Wow.
I was living down in Huntington Beach, and I was planning. It was funny. I was planning to take a little time to figure out like the wrestling scene down there.
Hmm.
I had not contacted anybody, nothing, but Dave Marquez just randomly texted me one day or DM me on Facebook or Twitter or
Yeah.
something. It was like, "Hey, when you gonna come in and wrestle for me?" And I was like, actually, I just moved to California." He's like, "I know." So I
Yeah.
messaged me. I'm like, "How did you know?"
Hmm.
But yeah, that's funny.
How was it wrestling for championship? It's another one like TV
Oh
kind of.
man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had a blast there.
Yeah.
Um, having the knowledge from OVW and then getting some more experience and knowledge from the independents. Yeah, I
Hmm.
was really happy to, when I went to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, kind of put all those things together. So I felt like I was even a better performer for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood than I was for OVW.
Okay.
And then my last run with them, I only did a few tapings for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, but we had Derby City Wrestling, but it was the same promoter and production team.
Hmm.
So my little run we had with Derby City Wrestling, I think, was like my favorite
Nice.
TV run.
Yeah.
Because I got to work with Elijah Burke and a full program, and dude, we had really good chemistry and yeah, it was great.
Yeah. When you look at your career, I'm curious. I could be wrong, but is it during the pandemic you take time away from wrestling, or is it before that?
Yeah, during the pandemic, that was pretty
Okay.
much my first break because
Yeah.
there wasn't anything to do, and I think I wrestled like once or twice during the pandemic, and I was like, dude, this wrestling in front of no audience thing is not for me. I don't.
Yeah.
I'd rather stay home.
Yeah. So when the pandemic's over, you return?
Yeah, it was over for a little bit before I came back. I think
Okay.
I don't really remember. It's been a
Yeah.
blur.
During pandemic, is your goal eventually to come back to wrestling, or you were just using it as a break, or what was the mindset for that?
I wasn't sure, honestly.
Really? Okay.
I wasn't sure. I was coming back for like little things here and there. I'd wrestle like every once in a great while.
Hmm.
Um, but I wasn't planning to really come back until my first TV taping with Derby City Wrestling. And I was kind of under the impression that I was coming in just to help out backstage and help run the show and da 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 da. And then they promoted one of the only matches they promoted for the first taping was me versus Elijah Burke, the Pope.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, it's just going to be an enhancement match. I can do like a 7 minute match and put him over. No, 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 dude. You're going to be in every single TV episode, promos, build up, main
Yeah.
event, 20-minute match.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, dude, I haven't wrestled in like 8 months, dude. And I'm fat as hell.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Yeah.
But I just jumped back in the fire and I had a really good time that day and at the tapings and I had a really good time with the Pope and I was like, oh, well, you guys tricked me. I'm
Yeah.
back.
Wow. When you talk your career, you've done so much in wrestling, but when does rapping come in for you?
So actually, it was after I did that first TV taping with Derby City,
Yeah.
the guy that did my original music, he was like, "Hey, dude, how about we do a new song and like you come in the studio and like do a verse?" And I'm like, "Oh hell no, I can't rap, dude. Like you
Yeah.
should see my rap on SmackDown. It was terrible."
Yeah.
And so anyway, I go to the studio, and the first day I'm in a studio ever in my life, 50 Cent is there. He recorded a verse for Nas, one of his last albums. I think it was like 2 albums ago or 3 albums ago. It was
Okay.
2023 album. But if you look and see featuring 50 Cent, he was in the studio recording that. So I was
Wow.
like, hey, damn, dude, now I'm nervous even more because now if this place is that legit, like this is tough. So anyway,
Yeah.
get there and the studio is immaculate. And I'm like, okay. And yeah, it was pretty stressful the first one, but I liked it. I had a lot of fun. And then like the outcome of it and the way it sounded, I was like, oh, dude, this is cool. So then it ended up getting featured on another song. And that was even more fun because I was experienced now And then after that, I was like, dude, you know what? I'm gonna do some more music. So,
Nice.
and it ended up releasing an EP.
Wow. And when you talk about your career, you've done so much in wrestling. You started to do some rapping. What about acting? Was this during wrestling too, or no?
Yeah. So the the movie was actually during the pandemic.
Okay.
Um, I don't think we were still on lockdown. I can't really remember, but the movie thing, one of my good friends, Storiez, he's up there in Hollywood. He's been in it for over 20 years,
Mhm.
super connected guy. Um, but he always would hit me up and, we always, talk to each other personally and stuff. But he was like, dude, we need to get you on a movie. Like you have a good look for, to be in film. We need to get you started. And so, after a few years of him randomly saying that, he was like, hey, I got you a role in a movie. Do you
Wow.
want to do this? And I was like, heck yeah, dude. Let's do it.
Wow. When you look at your career, I'm curious, for all the guys you wrestled and everything, is there a match that you'd say defines your career? Or one of them? Or few?
One of my favorite matches ever
Okay.
was with my friend Jake Oman, and the match was about 35, 40 minutes. And dude, it was just a full-on roller coaster of a match.
Okay.
And like people had watched us wrestle each other a million times, so it was like the ultimate payoff of years and years and years of us
Yeah.
like gutting it out together. So the crowd was so into it, like they were beating on the ring, like dude, it was electric. Even though it was like not a huge show, it was a couple hundred people, but it was electric.
Yeah. Who brings the best out of Dylan Bostic, you'd say?
Depends on what you mean. So wrestling wise, I'd say Jake.
Nice.
Jake for sure.
Yeah.
Because he always was like, anytime I'd get down, he'd kind of like push me. And he's such a great friend. Like my last tryout at the Performance Center, he came all the way to Pittsburgh to go to the gym and train with me just to get me in shape for the conditioning part of stuff.
Yeah.
So he's just a good friend, dude. He just pushes me a lot.
Yeah. Especially looking at your career, you've done so much, but I'm curious, going into the new year, what is Dylan Bostic up to do? What are the goals this year?
So I'm actually getting ready to do another song
Nice.
today. And it's going to be half English, half Spanish.
Wow.
So that's going to be cool. But I don't know. It's a new year. I'm just hoping to get the money up. And
Nice.
I've been in talks with a couple wrestling things, but that, want me to come back, but I don't know if I'm going to do that.
Okay.
I'm undecided on that.
Wow. Well, Dylan,
Undecided.
I was gonna say I can't thank you enough for this. When I reached out to you, I was not expecting right away you to say thank you. So I can't thank you enough, man. You're a legend, so I'm grateful we got to do this.
Hey, dude, you're just lucky that you know Elia.
Yeah.
If you didn't know Elia, I told you to fuck
Well,
up.
I
No,
didn't
just
mention
kidding.
Elia at first. Well, Dylan,
I know.
well, I can't thank you enough. However, every interview I've done has ended the same now. The day you decided to done in wrestling, which isn't happening anytime soon, but the day you decided it's all done, what do you want Dylan Bostic's legacy in pro wrestling to be?
Um, it doesn't really matter, I just hope that fans continue to like wrestling. I hope they continue to enjoy the show. I'll be forgotten about in like 10 years. I'll probably get remembered for punching Joey Janelle in the face, but
Yeah. Well, when I look at OVW, you're a guy that stands out right off the rip. So the fact
yeah,
we made this happen, man, thank you so much.
I appreciate you, man.
And
Yeah,
down the line, you've had a storied career. Maybe we'll do a part two or something.
definitely, dude. I'm definitely down anytime.
I thought about it mid-interview. I was trying to send Elia the invite for this, so next time we'll make it happen.
Oh, me and Elia at the same
We'll do
time?
something like that. He
Good.
sent me a list of a bunch of people from OVW, so maybe we can do like a round table or something.
Well, if we did me and Elia, though, him and I have some funny stories that you would love. They're
Perfect.
hilarious.
I'll hit him
They're
up. We'll set
hilarious.
something up.
Yeah, I almost saw him die of fear one time. We'll have to
Really?
talk about that. Oh yeah. We'll talk about that with him though. It was hilarious.
Perfect. Thank you, Dylan, for doing this, and thank you
Yeah, no
everybody for
problem.
watching
Thank
this
you, Chris.
episode. This was Best for Business.
Thank you for watching this episode of Best for Business. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, because this is Best for Business.